Welcome back, everyone. A battle order video. This is the new U.S. Army Mobile Rifle Squad and Company (MBCT). Very recent. I think this came out. I don't know when this came out. Maybe not too long ago. Let's jump in and let's figure out, you know, what's going on. Experimental.
The U.S. Army is reorganizing all its infantry and some of its Stryker and Armored Brigade combat teams into mobile BCTs.
Okay.
Their whole thing is being motorized on the Infantry Squad vehicle. In this series, I'm going to take you through the latest in MBCT organization and equipment. Today's episode covers the new rifle company design as it stands.
So this specific vehicle is like is it because of its mobility, or I'm curious in this.
While it's purely experimental for now and there's no proved doctrine, because the Army is now converting units to MBCTs en masse, there's now central guidance from TRADOC as to how they should look. For context, the Infantry Brigade Combat Team, or IBCT, was the most numerous brigade type in the US Army. It was almost entirely motorized and wheeled vehicles, like Humvees and FMTV cargo trucks. However, its rifle companies lacked organic motor transportation, with the expectation being to motorize them ad hoc when deployed. It was optimized for dismounted operations in complex terrain to include
You see a lot of this in like the tours in the early 2000s.
built-up areas, forests, jungle, mountains, or subterranean infrastructure, speedy strategic deployment via airlift, and tactical deployment by helicopter. This construct was created during the modular force reform of the 2000s when all divisional support except aviation was shifted to the maneuver brigades, so IBCTs had their own organic cavalry reconnaissance, artillery, engineers, military intelligence, signals, and sustainment. The mobile BCT construct shakes up this structure in a few major ways. At the high level, Cav Scouts in the light world are basically extinct. They're taking their dismounted Charlie troops staffed by infantrymen anyway to create the new multifunctional reconnaissance company, the latest iteration of the Brigade Recon Company. Further, the infantry brigades outside the lower 48 states that only had 2 infantry battalions have been reflagging their Cav squadrons as a 3rd infantry battalion. Field artillery battalions are also being moved to the division artillery, and several divisions have already done it. Although each MBCT still has its own specific artillery battalion in direct support. Engineer battalions in infantry, mobile, and Stryker BCTs were also the first to be reduced to one combat engineer company organic to a divisional battalion. And lastly, the brigade support battalions in MBCTs have been configured into a leaner light support battalion and moved to the division sustainment brigade, although like the artillery, still in direct support of the brigade. Forward support companies sustaining each maneuver battalion are being replaced with combat logistics companies. At the ground level, all of the combat companies in the MBCT are being motorized with the infantry squad vehicle in at least 2 types.
So I'm just curious. We're going. Is this because we're seeing more drones in field, less heavy armor? Because the heavy armor, as has a a direct reason not to be out there because of drone warfare and not good mobility. So this is because that is deterred now. This can be inferred.
The 9-seater that can carry a whole squad, and the 5-seater utility variant that has a cargo bed and space for different large mission equipment. The purpose is to increase the infantry's operational mobility, getting from the line of departure or landing zone to attack positions short of the objective, basically replacing long foot movements, and without breaking up the squad into 2 or 3 separate vehicles, which used to be the case.
So this keeps, it's obviously, especially with drone warfare, it becomes a bigger target, but I get it, cohesion.
ISVs can also be pulled forward to resupply dismounted infantry post-assault, including supplies carried on board while conducting air assaults. bring up packs from the ORP, and be used to casevac wounded to ambulance exchange points. It's being sold as not a fighting vehicle, so it can get away with no protection, so it can be brought along during air assaults and such. But we all know how that's gone historically. This, plus the need to being sold as not a fighting vehicle, so it can get away with no protection, so it can be brought along during air assaults and such. But we all know how that's gone historically. This, plus the need to integrate recon and attack UAS, counter UAS systems, increase anti-tank firepower, all while not growing the brigade, are some other major factors guiding this design. As for the rifle company specifically, this is the main effort of the brigade, the bulk of its combat power, and what everything else is designed to enable. Each infantry battalion has 3 rifle companies, plus an HQ and HQ company, and a new multi-purpose company as the Delta Company. The basic structure of the rifle company will be basically the same: a company HQ, 3 rifle platoons, and a 60mm mortar section. However, what's in them will change. Going from bottom to top, let's start with the rifle squad. In terms of manpower, it's basically the same: 9 soldiers led by a staff sergeant and split into 2 teams of 4, each with a team leader, automatic rifleman, grenadier, and rifleman.
Yeah, so similar how we saw before.
As the next generation squad weapon program proceeds though, some units are now issuing new arms. Everyone except for the automatic rifleman is armed with either the legacy M4A1 carbine or M7 rifle in the new cartridge. An XM8 carbine is also in the works, but it's not clear how or if it'll be issued. The automatic rifleman is armed with either the legacy M249 or the new M250. Note that it does not appear like everyone is using the Vortex M157 fire control optic, the 1-to-8 power smart scope. We've been seeing photos of both weapons being used with a mix of the Vortex Nightforce 1-to-8 power and Vortex AMG 1-to-10 power LPVOs, and an EOTech holographic plus 3 power magnifier combo.
This is the very technical part of this video.
Whether that'll continue into the future or it's just until M157 production catches up, I don't know. 1 rifleman per squad will still have the option of being the squad-designated marksman. In M4A1 armed units, this meant employing the M110A1 SDMR. Whether this will still be the
So this is like your longer range rifle.
case in M7 armed units, I also don't know. The Grenadier is also armed with the M320 grenade launcher.
Right.
Almost a decade ago, they made a thing about issuing M17 pistols to squad and team leaders as well. And last I looked into it, which was a few years ago, they were on the MTO. Whether they remain, I don't know. But even if they're there, it's probably not that important, to be honest. The American infantryman is biased against the pistol and may not even take it out even if they're MTO'd it. Historically, there have also been enough riot-type shotguns such as the Mossberg M500 to issue to every team leader for breaching purposes.
Okay, just for breaching purposes in urban warfare.
Some units seem to have been practicing shooting at drones with them, so they might get a new lease on life.
Would it be more effective to use shotgun against drones or that EMP device that they were showing earlier?
More radically, each rifle squad is mounted in its own infantry squad vehicle. They're also going to be authorized a Javelin anti-tank guided missile system each. In IBCTs, the Javelin was employed by the weapon squad, but they're leaning that out to a machine gun and attack drone unit in MBCTs, similar to how it is in Striker units. As a result, the allocation of Javelin clues in the platoon will increase from 2 to 3. Each squad will also be equipped with a Black Hornet micro UAS for the corner peeking type of recon, known in Army jargon as the SBS or Soldier-Borne Sensor. Each rifle platoon will have 3 of these squads as normal. The weapon squad will see a more drastic redesign though. First, they'll be authorized a 9-seater ISV and reduced from 9 men to 7. This is due to the deletion of anti-armor specialists, leaving just 2 M240 Lima medium machine gun teams. This is still adequate to form the platoon support by fire or SBF position. However, unlike currently, each gun team will have 3 men, including the gunner, assistant gunner, and ammo bearer. The 3-man machine gun team is really ideal, and units during GWAT would often cannibalize their anti-armor teams to provide an ammo bearer, so this seems like a positive change.
It's more flexible, more mobile, makes more sense. They cut the fat.
It may also be to allow the weapon squad to serve one purpose-built attritable system, the Naros Archer first-person view one-way attack drone. One system includes the goggles, controller, display, 2 10-inch air vehicles, and 4 5-inch air vehicles. So it's 6 drones that can be resupplied, and they're capable of fiber optic control. The 10-inch drone can serve an anti-tank munition in one-way attack mode,
So they're suicide drones.
or a droppable anti-personnel munition, while the 5-incher can do a one-way attack anti-personnel munition only. One soldier can carry all the control equipment, 1 of the bigger drones, and 2 of the smaller drones, with the rest carried on the ISV or a second man.
Let me know if they're not, when it says one-way attack, let me know if that's not inferred as suicide drones. I think so, though.
Lastly, for the rifle platoon, the platoon HQ will be authorized its own 5-seater utility variant of the ISV. Organic personnel include the platoon leader, platoon sergeant, and radio telephone operator or RTO.
These are your comms.
Attached personnel will include a combat medic from the battalion's medical platoon, as well as at least a forward observer and ideally a fire support RTO attached from their direct support artillery battalion.
I wonder if this guy that he's using knows that he's the designated guy for all battle order videos.
Cross-loading of HQ personnel is down to SOP, because the platoon leader and platoon sergeant generally don't ride together so as to spread out leadership. However, the combat medic is almost always with the platoon sergeant since the PSG coordinates CASEVAC, and the RTO is always with the platoon leader. The platoon leader in the HQ Vic and the platoon sergeant bumping to the weapon squad Vic is a realistic load. In the case there isn't an HQ Vic, the PL would probably ride with one of the rifle squads. Units are generally not at 100% strength, so this wouldn't necessarily pose a seating problem. Other equipment authorized to the platoon HQ are the platoon's MAWS, the US version of the Carl Gustav 84mm recoilless rifle, and 2 short-range recon drones operated by rifle squad personnel.
Okay.
At the company level, the platoons are supported by a 60mm mortar section. This will have 2 3-man mortar squads employing a single 60mm mortar each, same as today. Each will be mounted in a utility ISV though, and they may also get their own short-range recon drone, although that's unclear. The senior squad
So whoever develops this vehicle is getting a huge stock increase, right?
leader is also the section leader, and the section is capable of split operations. Lastly, for the company headquarters has gotten a minor update. Humvee and MATV authorizations have been replaced by the utility ISV. So the HQ has 2 ISVUs, one with a trailer, and 1 4x4 LMTV cargo truck pulling a water tank trailer. Personnel include the company commander, company XO, 2 radio operators, 1 for each, the first sergeant, a communications NCO, supply clerk and assistant, and new to the company, an operations readiness NCO. Interestingly, looking at National Guard job announcements, it seems this position may be filled by a 74 Delta Seaburn NCO. You'd also see the attachment of an emergency care sergeant from the battalion
I guarantee you a bunch of like active duty and reserves watch these videos. So a lot of this jargon makes more sense to them than me, but it's interesting. So like you have to have to get some of these positions, you have to have a certain rank already, and it's kind of, obvious, right?
medical platoon to act as the company's senior medic, as well as a fire support team or FIST from the artillery. Company-level aerial systems include a Switchblade 600 or lethal unmanned system as a lasso surrogate. In
That's interesting. Never seen that before.
this case, 1 all-up round, and 1 medium-range recon drone,
Got a little helicopter. Designed that way, isn't it?
the Anduril Ghost X or PDW C-100. The MRR is meant to be operated by personnel attached from the Multifunctional Reconnaissance Company's Tactical UAS platoon. This replaces the IBCT's defunct Raven UAS capability. I'll go into that in more detail later on, but the MFRC will have 3 tactical UAS integration sections, 1 to support each infantry battalion and man the battalion's own MTOD drones. This entails 1 2-man team of 15 Whiskey or 15 X-Ray UAS operators per company. However, all 3 teams could be massed depending on what's required. On the ground, the company will also be authorized 1 SMET unmanned ground vehicle capable of carrying cargo, mission equipment, or remote weaponry, and
So more and more robotics being used in all of this is necessary at this time.
6 Steed electric payload carriers. That's right, old heads, the handcarts are back. It's been reported that the Steed is capable of transporting up to 500 pounds, with a battery life of 24 hours in sub-freezing temperatures, or
Wow.
potentially up to 72 hours. At least that's what their marketing says, and the 2-hour recharge time. There's nothing light about light infantry, but the ISVs, Asmet, and Steeds are trying to make things a little lighter. Just
I mean, this is all really interesting that the adaptations are moving in this direction.
need to make sure light infantry PLs get up to speed about maintenance requirements. Stay tuned for future.
Wow, good video. Leave me some video comments down below, or video suggestions down below that would kind of like parlay from this, but also any context that you want to add from this video, let me know as well. Try to keep up. I'm not active military or reserve or anything like that, but it's interesting to kind of see like the evolution of warfare and what certain places like the United States are doing to try to keep up and, you know, cut the fat, keep it agile, and so forth. Until next time, peace out, have a good day, and bye-bye.